Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing that this awesome movie called Munster Go Home. That was released in 1966, I think it was.
Yeah, that's correct, 1966. Yeah, Munster Go Home, released 1966. American comedy horror film based on the 1960s television sitcom, The Munsters.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why we decided to do this is partly because we like the movie, but the other part is Rob Zombie is, in this year, 2022, is looking at making a Munster movie.
Yeah, using his beloved wife,
Mrs. Zombie.
Mrs. Zombie, to play the Lily Monster.
Yeah, so it could be. So we thought it'd be timely to reintroduce this movie to some of you younger people who may not have ever seen it.
Yeah, this one was one of my particular favourites. I like this one and Munster's Revenge.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, this one's good because.
And I like that 1313 Mockingbird Lane one that came out many years later.
That was a TV program reboot.
I know.
But the reason why I like this one, this one's important, because this was made at the end of the TV series as a vehicle to help sell the series to overseas countries by making this pilot type movie for the series. So they made the pilot movie sort of at the end of the series to get the people overseas enticed, and if they see the movie they might watch the TV program.
That is a good marketing
so a little bit
ploy.
back the front, like it's like a sequel, prequel thingy, backwards slides, prologue, epilogue. I don't know, everything thrown into the same.
Yeah, but it's a good way of getting people from overseas to take an interest.
Well, they
in
wanted
this movie.
they wanted to syndicate it, and I thought, well, let's make a movie.
Yeah, and this is one of Rob Zombie's favourite of movies. Well, no surprise why he wants to make a remake of it.
That's why he can't do his own version. Now, having to, excuse me, I'm a bit tired today. I've got some stitches in my back and it's been playing havoc with my sleeping patterns. Yeah, anyway. Now, I like this because there's a lot of hands-on and people doing more than one job here. Produced by Joe Connolly and Bob Mosher. Directed by Earl Bellamy. Actually, Earl Bellamy directed a few of the episodes in the Munsters TV series anyway, so he had an idea what to do with the movie. Now, written by, here we go, Joe Connolly, Bob Mosher, Earl Bellamy, and a guy called George Tibbles. So the producers and the director also wrote the script. Interesting. So they must have really liked it. Yeah, it's based on the TV series, obviously. And everybody apart from the Marilyn person, who was, I think it was played by Pat Priest, mainly, in the TV series, she was replaced by Debbie Watson. So there you go. Now, budget, $600,000, which it's not a lot of money, but they kept it simple, and they don't. You look at it, if they film it like a TV series, it's a bit of wham bam, thank you ma'am. It's a different style of filming. They spent a bit less time trying to fine tune it. Don't know what the box office did, but I get the impression that it was not a commercial success, but it wasn't meant to be a commercial success in America or anywhere else. It was just an introduction to the TV series. So it might have actually gone to television in overseas countries to try and get people enticed into watching the TV series. There you go. Now, actors. Well, okay. If anybody's watched the old Munsters TV series, you'd recognise some of these names. We have Fred Gwynne playing Herman Munster. He is my favourite Herman. I've seen a couple of guys. The first guy in the pilot was a different guy, I think, when they did the TV series. I don't think he played that role. And also, there was a reboot sometime later. A really nice guy, I can't remember his name. But Herman, he's a clown. Fred Gwynne is a funny man.
He's awesome.
Now, Yvonne DiCarlo, she is my mother image. She is a beautiful lady, always has been. Yvonne DiCarlo plays Lily Munster. a nice, caring mother, even though she's a vampire. Now,
Ex-vampire.
Al Lewis plays Grandpa, Count Drac, whatever you want to call him. He's a really nice guy and he's really funny. He works really good with Fred Gwynn. Mm-hmm. Butch Patrick plays Eddie Munster, the little precocious little boy, vampire, not vampire, werewolf kitty. You know, everybody needs one in the family.
Oh, yeah.
As I mentioned before, Debbie Watson's playing Marilyn Munster. Mm-hmm. I won't mention all the other people, but Terry Thomas plays a role in this movie. Terry Thomas, the English actor. Hermione Gingold is in there. John Carradine, he plays a butler.
Yeah, you're right.
And a guy called Bernard Fox. He always plays
Uppy crusty guys.
Sort of an upper class swagger stick sort of, oh, I'm the general here, blah blah. Yeah, the over the top sort of polling sort of generals and squires and stuff. He's quite humorous in this role too.
He was in Hogan's Heroes, the Titanic, and the Mummy movie with Brendan Fraser.
He played an off of centre sort of role, if you know what I mean. He's just not quite right, and he makes it a little bit funny or weird. So he's really good. Mm-hmm. I won't mention the other people here. No, nobody else worth talking about. Yeah, so take it away, Grizzly.
Yes, might as well. So it begins with Herman finds out he's inherited a title, a lordship, if you will. An estate.
In merry old England.
Yeah, and that means he's wealthy and he's got himself a estate.
He's got a title.
Yeah, I like the scene at the opening where he's jumping around and bashing things around, and then Grandpa says here in the scene, I always thought they'd be in England. Now I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, he always takes the piss out of Herman. Yeah.
Of course, that's the whole persona. So anyway, they pack their belongings and make their plans to go on a ship down to merry old England.
Before we go anywhere, they had a sign on the ship. And it had the SS United States. Now, I don't know if that's a real ship or just a name for the film, but that was stock film footage from another movie.
Oh, really? Which movie?
Yeah, I don't know, but I didn't find out. But they just borrowed the for the transatlantic crossing, stock footage of the American passenger ocean liner. So it might have been a real one. Oh it's SS United States. Near the end of its active career was utilised. So it was a real boat with a real name.
So as they're going onto a boat, Herman Munster starts developing seasickness by the time they start toot heading off.
But just when he's leaving the dock, he started getting seasick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already a bit green anyway. He's got a bit greener. Yeah.
Now, anyway, while this is happening, dear old Grandpa tries to fix him up something to make him feel better.
Seasick pill. Yes.
Unfortunately, the seasick pill was actually a wolf pill.
Yeah, and Grandpa took one to show home that it was safe, and Grandpa turned into a wolf, didn't he?
Yeah, in a sort of slow motion type, Lionel Chaney Jr. style type morphing effect, which is kind of cool.
It was quite funny. It was good.
It was hilarious, especially.
He turned into a full wolf, not just a man with hair all over. He turned into a real wolf.
Yeah, and he gets chased down by the guys on the boat,
the guards,
porters, whatever.
The orderlies, whatever you call it.
And
the hospitality people on the boat.
They put him into I guess.
Where the animals go.
And they tell him, and they tell Lily that they cannot, once they get to dock on the other end, he won't be able to
He'll be quarantined for 6 months or something or other. So Lily, sneaky little devils, yes.
Gets Herman to get him out. And while this is happening, Marilyn is befriending this good-looking man who has this awesome sports car.
He's got a little sports car. Looks like
Spider or something.
Ferrari.
Ferrari Spider.
Nice looking car. Yeah.
It's a beauty.
I wish I had one.
It was probably one of the awesome cars.
Well, you had the Spiders, you had MGs and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of good little sports cars back in those days. They were very popular. Yeah, and they used to race them a lot.
Of course, every time they get close to the nitty gritty, he kind of freezes up, and Marilyn thinks that he's afraid of her looks. And throughout the story, throughout the TV series and this movie, we think that she thinks that everyone's repulsed by her appearance.
She's so ugly.
Because while her family is really gothically, off the top, she's the most natural beauty in this bunch.
Some of the Marilyns in the TV series, or one of them at least, Pat Priest or another one, you look like a Marilyn Monroe type. She looks so damn good and pretty and everything. Drop dead gorgeous. But it's like a toss up. She thought she was ugly, and the Munsters thought they were good looking.
And they think
anyway, moving along. We're about the movie, not about their personality.
So Herman does break his grandpa of the where they're keeping the animals, and Lily comes up with the plan of getting him past the quarantine. Past the into port. She has him as a wrap or sort of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, puts has how you got a mink wrap or mixed old or fox fur around your shoulders. Well, she had a whole wolf wrapped around her shoulders and walking through customs, and no one picked up on the fact that it was a full animal.
Yeah. Eventually, he notices a cat and he jumps off her shoulders and chases it, and he turns back into Grandpa.
Yes, and he does remember what had happened previously, which is nice. Must have been a bit of Alzheimer's getting in there. He's old, a couple hundred years old.
Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, soon enough they head over to where the mansion is, and they stop off at a bar and to ask for directions, and they kind of freaked out some of the customers there.
Grandpa walked in and then a cloud of smoke or fog, and then he disappeared in a puff of smoke, and
yeah, so it's just like those ones you see in those old black and white Billy Ghosty movies. Anyway, they arrive there, and the family, that's the rest of the family of the Munsters.
They're Rollos.
They're living in England. They're not too thrilled that Herman has inherited the title, and they want to scare him away in order to keep it for Freddie Munster.
Yeah, well, Lady Effigy, the mother, the matriarch of the family, Hermione Gingold playing that role, she's in control, and she's had ideas of scaring them away anyway. But her son Freddie was hoping to become Lord of the Manor, and he was having little tantrums and everything.
Yeah, he's like a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
the worst kind of way.
But that was Terry Thomas. He played that role so good. The upper class twit and everything else. He's really good.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
So as the Lily, Herman, and Eddie and Marilyn get settled into the mansion, Lily and Herman get a bit of a performance from the family.
They're trying to scare them jumping out of closets, stuff dressed as mummies and ghosts and everything, and they thought, they're trying to make us feel welcome. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course, Freddie comes out and dressed in a sheet, and
he sees Herman and he runs away.
Yeah.
Well,
man, it's hilarious. And the next morning, they get to see them up close, what they look like, and they're all pretty much surprised that Herman is a Frankenstein monster type.
Well, pretty close, eh? Mm-hmm. Carry on. Stop
anyway, so as the family get involved into the community, Marilyn reconnects with her love interest and his family, and along the way, when she mentions about her own family, her surname, they got offended by her family's name because they see them as...
They had a feud over the years.
Yeah,
yes.
And this kind of causes a bit of a mishap, and this prevents... And Marilyn just walked out, or just ran out.
Yes, they didn't make her feel very welcome.
And while this is happening, Lily and Eddie, they're going shopping in this village, I think, and a bunch of kids are picking on Eddie and calling him Monster or Monster.
Or Chad. He was a Munster, or whatever, Munster,
yeah.
Whatever, yeah.
They tell Herman this, and they think that there's something wrong with this mansion thing. So Herman and Grandpa, they make a point of trying to find out the truth about what's going down inside the mansion of sorts. So they make a point of, sneaking off in the middle of the night and heading down into the inside the castle.
They went downstairs into the basement of the castle.
Yeah.
How's that?
There they found a printing press and counterfeit money, which means that the family has been, making felony money, and they've been smuggling it out in big size coffin-sized boxes.
Yeah, and everyone thought, they're moving bodies around or something really weird, but actually full of counterfeit pound notes.
Yeah,
they actually returned and thought, it's play money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's English pound
everything
notes.
is money.
Yeah.
And he had never seen an English pound
before. He's
Yeah.
used to American money, whatever.
Yeah, all the same colour, green.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's also run by this mysterious being or person called the Griffin. He's the person in charge of everything.
But you never know who the Griffin is until the end of the movie.
Oh, yes. Yeah, anyway, so Herman and Grandpa, they turn in, and of course, he approaches the Mrs. What's her name?
Mrs. Munster?
Yeah, Lady Munster.
Effigy.
And she just says that she never knew of this printing press, and
but
says
she reported to the police.
Yes, which is a lie. And they plan on trying to get rid of Herman in the car racing competition.
There was a car race going on. He was going to represent the Munsters' estate, being the lord of the manor.
Yeah, so at one point they were going to use one of their cars, and Herman ended up driving that and crashing it. So they had to make up their own car using the body of a coffin and the wheels from their car. And let me see, some tubes from some, I don't know, pipes, I don't know where they came from, and some nice lamps as headlights.
Yeah, it was a mix-mash, hotspot sort of thing. It looked really good. Now, just before, it was a custom dragster titled or named Dragula. Quite funny. But it was actually made by a guy in America, by a guy called the name of George Barris, who actually was used to make weird design cars for special people and special purposes. So it wasn't the first time he made that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I read somewhere that it was in one of Rob Zombie's music videos.
Really?
I think that's why he's a big fan. He wants to put it into his stuff here and there, which is kind of cool. I'm glad they like his stuff. So anyway, back to the story. While Herman is making his new car, Marilyn Roger kind of visits the monster's place several times, and each time he's been told that Marilyn doesn't want to see him, but this is not true. This sort of feeds the feud between the families more and more. And Marilyn has phoned their house a couple of times, and they said that Roger doesn't want to talk to her. Sort of again, as I said, they have a huge feud against each other, isn't that right, Mike?
Well, the feud between the families, yeah.
Yeah, so it's
more so the people didn't like the Munsters, I think. Yeah.
So soon enough, they built the car, and Herman sees this as an opportunity not only for the family, but to sort of defend Marilyn's honor or whatever for being rejected by that family.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though Marilyn doesn't see it that way, she feels like it's a bit of not a really good thing when you think about it.
Well,
whatever. Anyway, so Marilyn and Eddie head down to the car racing thing, and while they're waiting there, Grandpa and Lily, they were expected to come down, but unfortunately Freddie Munster had them tied up in the dungeon.
Yes, nice guy.
Yeah,
where all the money is.
And he goes on and brags about how they designed the counterfeiring wing and about the Griffin and how they're going to put a bump off Herman so he could be Lord Munster. Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, 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 yeah.
Yes.
People can't understand you when you do that.
Yeah, true. But you got to admit, the bad guys always seem to brag about this sort of thing. It's all comes around in these movies when you think about it.
Exactly. Well,
not all the time. I mean, this is just only comedy routines. Anyway, so moving on. So So Herman arrives in his interesting made-up car, and the race is on. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Roger gets replaced by the
Griffin. He got stopped out, and the Griffin takes his place.
Yeah. So the Griffin is replacing him, and has the two henchmen who are sort of Roger's backers, or his crew, lock him in a shed, and so that the Griffin could run Herman over.
Yeah.
Off the road, anyway. So the race is on. The race goes wonderfully, and eventually, while Freddie wasn't looking, Lily and Grandpa were able to give Freddie the slip by slipping into those two coffins where the money was usually taken in and out, and was able to slip away unnoticed.
Yeah, exactly.
And by his henchmen. Eventually the henchmen hears the rumbling inside the coffins, and then they look behind them and see both Grandpa and Lily waking from the boxes, and they crash their truck and fall into a pond. Oh well, went for a swim. Anyway, so Grandpa and Lily, they have to get down to warn Herman about the Griffin's plans about getting him killed. So they end up taking a motorcycle, then some horses, and I don't know whatever they can find. Of course, Grandpa ends up falling off his horse, so he ends up having to transform into a wolf again to try to get there on 4 feet. Unfortunately, there was a fox hunt, and they chase him away, and he gets caught up in a tree. Man, that'd be so hilarious.
As you talk about the Grandpa, obviously.
Of course.
Made more funnier.
Yeah, while this is happening, Herman wins the race.
Yay.
Hooray! And eventually he walks out into the middle of the road, and then the Griffin charges. Yeah, and then bam, the car hits Herman, but doesn't damage him.
Yeah, and the Griffin gets thrown out of the car.
And lands in the fish and chip stall.
Yeah.
And eventually everyone runs to them, and Freddie and his sister Grace think that it was the butlers who might be the Griffin. But it turns out it was not the butler, it's the butler's daughter, who was a barmaid who was working at the local tavern.
So she's got all these little jobs as the Griffin, she's a barmaid, and we find out she's also had the counterfeiting ring. She's been very, very busy,
Yes, so she's the one who's been behind that. And then the bartender, who was also the owner of the tavern, tells them about how they would do anything to get Freddie the title of Lord Munster. And Munster, sorry.
I keep saying Monster.
Will you stop holding it against me? Shut up. Anyway, Freddie and Grace, they try to slip away, but luckily enough, Herman's good at ring toss, and he was able to ring them using some tires.
He put a couple of tires and threw it, and like quoits or throwing horseshoes. Yeah.
And while this is happening, Lady Munster and her butler were trying to sneak away into their car to the airport. Another car.
Their limousine type car. But who's sitting in the front seat?
Lily and Eddie.
So we're going to drive you to the police station.
Yeah. And then later on we see Herman writing a letter to his friends down at the mortuary.
Back home.
Back at home, telling them the full story about what happened.
And he's going to come home.
Yeah. So they kind of handed over the mansion and
they donated the mansion, the grounds to the local town.
Yeah. And Herman feels like he's not up to being a lord or anything like that.
So he got some money out of it.
I'm sure they probably got some money out of it.
A few bucks, a couple pounds.
Anyway, Marilyn and Roger, they have their final say goodbyes, and Roger says he plans on doing more racing in America. Meaning he can continue courting Marilyn while still having these hallucinations here and there.
And he still thinks he's seeing things. But
yeah.
I'm surprised that's actually met the family by now.
Anyway, they do look in on them kissing, and he just pins it on, thinking it's just a hallucination.
And I'm hallucinating.
So they kiss, and they part ways, and then Herman and Lily and Grandpa and Eddie and Marilyn, they make their way to their car, and they see it's not really cloudy, no thunderstorms, nothing.
They wanted inclement weather. Yeah.
So Grandpa takes out his pill bottles and takes one that's
a rain pill out or something.
And he throws it in the sky, and it rains snow.
It starts snowing instead of raining.
And then,
he's not very good at this.
Yeah, and he says you can't win them all. So they get into the car and they drive off in a cloud of snow.
And there you go then. What, Fade to Black then, was it?
Yeah, Fade to Black
or
whatever. So it was an awesome movie, even though I kept it short.
It's a funny movie. If you like the Munsters, it's a if you older guys have probably seen the Munsters. Some of you younger guys may not have seen the Munsters, but it's been run and rerun. You might have come across it. It's a nice, fun movie. Yeah. It's tongue-in-cheek stuff. It's a comedy. It's not really a horror, but it's fun. And
I think it's
might get you in the mood for the Rob Zombie version, which has come out later in the year. So
yeah, I hope that the Rob Zombie one will be just as good. I mean, I think he's trying to do justice.
Well, Mrs. Zombie, I can't remember her name. What's Mrs. Zombie's name? Star or something? I can't remember. Something Moon, something or other?
Yeah, something Moon.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Anyway, I know for a fact that...
she looks good in the gear. Yeah.
I already seen the setup for the Munster, layout.
They're actually rebuilding the house to be looking like the original.
In the movie.
And they actually got some vacant land they're making it look like the neighbourhood too. So they're going into it in a big way. So when Rob Zombie's movie comes out later this year, hopefully I will get a chance to see it. We might even review it. I think it's going to be really great because they're gonna try claw back that same feeling of the TV series.
I just hope that whoever they casted for Herman and Grandpa, that their acting does it justice, because I do think some of their makeup job was a bit much.
You can only do the makeup so far, but the lady playing Lily,
Rob Zombie,
Rob's missus, has a look somewhere between Mrs. Munster and Mrs. Adams, because Mrs. Zombie's a good-looking lady, and she looks very attractive, very sexy in black and stuff, and yes, she really looks really, really good in a gothic way. So and the guy playing Grandpa, he's done up a little bit like Al Lewis in the original TV series. And the guy playing Herman, he's a tall guy, he's lumpy, broad-shouldered, and a flat head. What more could you want?
Yeah, it's just like looking at... It's like when you look at people going dressed as for Halloween, like the dressing up as the monsters for Halloween.
You got dressed up as Elvira recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I have, but as people would point out to me, I know some people have been polite about it, and I agree with them that I may be able to pull it off as Elvira's sister, but may not be 100% like Elvira.
Only one Cassandra.
Yeah.
And there's only one Elvira. And
so
we admire her so much, that's why Sarah had a photo shoot done dressed up that way.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it.
The original TV series, I believe, was all done in black and white. And this here movie was done in colour. Why would they do a colour movie as a pilot to entice people into watching a black and white series?
That's an interesting point.
Go figure it. It doesn't make false marketing, maybe, guys. I don't know how good the marketing campaign went. I gather it was syndicated overseas, so I don't know.
I didn't think it mattered too much. I mean, as long as it continued to use the old, made it still looking a little bit like on the old side.
But they're selling a black and white series for colour movie. So now, by the way, the car race in this was actually, it was supposed to be set in England. However, the road race they were doing of the cars was actually shot at the Paramount Ranch racetrack in Agoura, California. There you go. Yeah, how's that grab you? Now, I can't think of it. There's nothing else to say about this. This is an easy one, not enough production stuff to go with, and it is what it is. Blah, 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 blah. There you go. Okay, enough of that.
Actually, John, what's his name?
Who? John.
Never mind. You probably already mentioned it. About the butler playing.
Cooking, John Carradine.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is our third movie we did of with him in.
He gets around. Actually, I've noticed over the years. I mean, I was looking at movies. John Carradine, I don't recall him ever playing a leading role. He's always played a co-star or a bit further down the food chain.
Yeah.
He's never had a leading role. And, I mean, he's been in some really cheesy movies too over the years. But I think he just liked acting. So he did take anything. So he's in a lot of B movies. You know, he's Mad Scientist, maybe something else. Weird Man. He's always played those sorts of roles. Not a lot of times in the B movies. So why not? He had a good time, and his offspring, David. He learned how to do kung fu and stuff, and made a TV series out of it, and that sort of stuff. All in the family. Now, anyway, don't want to speak too much more about this because we'll have to digress too much.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 9. 9. Could have been a little bit better, but yeah, it's fun and it is what it is. So, but I do like Fred Gwynn and Yvonne De Carlo and Al Lewis. They're my favourites.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the Munster car and the Christine car from the movie Christine in 1983 are the two cars that dear old Rob Zombie really liked a lot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he really likes those interesting models kind of cars.
Well,
who could blame him?
I was going to go online and check out these other cars that this guy made, but I think he's made a lot of weird cars and stuff for people over the years. I think he actually made the oh, my back's hurting. I think he made the Racer. He might have made their ordinary family car, and he's made other special weird things for other movies. So it could be even James Bond type stuff. I don't know, but he's made some really, really interesting, maybe even Batman cars, I don't know. No, he did. That's right. I think he did one of the Batman cars back in those days, but he didn't design it. He actually built it from somebody else's design. But with this here, he actually designed and built it. So yeah,
that is kind of cool. Anyway, I like to rate this movie. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10 myself.
Yeah,
because I did like the sets, and I liked it how well the acting went, and how they casted some new comedy material.
It wasn't totally stale. I mean, they took some bits out of the TV series, then added some other stuff to it.
Like a lot of some of the stuff from Bela Lugosi's stuff too, like the whole grave diggers getting things from the castle in a creepy manner type thing. Sort of thing. Actually,
speaking of Draculas and vampires and monsters, we did that thing the other day, Vampire Academy. Yeah. We did that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
The other day. Now, they were having a dance there, and this supposed to be a school for vampires and stuff, and the DJ was dressed up as Dracula. Now, come on.
Hey, it's an ongoing thing. Get used to it.
So I thought, well, that's sort of insulting, considering Dracula isn't real.
No, who knows? Maybe the DJ was told to dress up vampirish.
Well,
he could be a human being.
I want the drink, come on. Yeah, whatever.
It may be just a sort of, I guess, doesn't matter what it is. It does matter, no. I mean, it's a vampire movie. Therefore, the DJ is dressed up like a Dracula look-alike, whatever. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's an ongoing thing after all. I mean, look at Liar Liar Vampire. When the kid was trying to become a vampire, he decided to dress up as, Bela Lugosi type in a costume. Even though these days vampires would just wear something ordinary clothes. Something
we saw Underworld, didn't we?
True. And mostly stuff that are not labelled, just casual, plain stuff. Mostly.
And Daughter of Darkness. That was okay. That was a good movie. Yeah. They were wearing plain clothes.
Yeah, the plainer the better. And as long as they have the gorgeous look about them, then you can pull it off.
I mean, you can't have all the guys walking around in tuxedos and stuff looking like head waiters.
That's true.
No. Haha.
Unless you were going to a costume party, but that's...
As a vampire. That's good. Actually, I went to a fancy dress party years ago dressed as a vampire. And I got a suit on, and I got a shirt, I got a tie, and I went to a theatrical supply place and hired an opera cape.
Oh, cool.
Black with red lining, and I got a bit of makeup, a bit of green makeup that tinged around my cheeks. I was going to use white, but I don't think white wasn't going to be any good, so a bit of green on my cheeks and stuff to
They
make
probably
it a
thought
bit
he
of
was
decay.
grandpa.
And some blood capsules to chew on, so you had blood dribbling down out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It looked really, really, really good. And I haven't got a photograph of it.
Ah.
Well, it didn't have digital photographs, cameras back, or phones back in those days, and you had ordinary ones, and not everybody had cameras where I was hanging out, so no one bothered. So I would have been nice to have a photograph. So, oh dear, little dickhead.
Yeah, what a drag.
Anyway, do you want to kill it?
Oh yes, guys. So I'm sorry, this was probably a short review.
Yeah, well,
I hate when I give a short review.
Well, there's a problem. See, when we've got a movie like this we can't talk a lot on, it gets a bit short. And then we get an interesting movie, I can't shut her up. It just goes on and on. Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I really did like the Dracula car that was modelled using a real
race
coffin.
is good.
Yeah, it was it was modified with a real coffin.
Well, see, you can do that.
Yeah.
As long as you meet the basic requirements for okay, I don't know about America and Australia, you need to have this, that and the other to comply with the rules of the Motor Transport Department in Australia. If you meet those requirements and safety and strength and everything else, you can do it if you like. Now, in America, you might have something similar, and in other countries,
Yeah, well, this explain why. We often get on the odd Halloween day, or sometimes we have it on our Halloween or cosplay. We'd often get some really fancy, dress kind of cars that we often have on special occasions,
like parade and stuff.
Yeah, or supernovas, or special superhero conferences. And we often have the odd parade of full floats that. Or not floats, special decorated cars.
A parade of cars and people and stuff,
Yeah, based off your favourite horror, favorite movie or something. Yeah, I've often seen the Ghostbusters cosplay cars.
Yeah, that old ambulance or whatever. Yeah. Actually, we had there's an old movie I think it was made in Australia many years ago called The Cars of Paris. There were some interesting cars in that too. So the VW had spikes all over or something or other, if my memory serves me correctly. But they look really good. Anyway, we'll wrap it now.
Time to wrap this up. Yeah. So, guys, I hope you might check out the Munster movies and
Munster Go Home. This one, 1966, and the new one coming out by Mr. Zombie.
Yeah, feel free to check out the other one called Munster's Revenge if you can.
Yeah,
that was done in 1983, I think.
Was it? A couple of years later,
Yeah, a couple of years later, and by this time, the Lillian Munster actress might have been on the teeny bit old side.
Yeah, she was older. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
They were getting a bit older.
So that's about it for us tonight. So I hope you guys check those out, and let us know in the comments what you guys think of.
Oh, by the way, I was going to say, you can get these through eBay. They're plenty for sale, and Amazon has it for rent or for sale.
All right.
So you should be able to get somewhere else as well.
All right, thanks, guys. So I hope you guys may check it out and let us know in the comments what you guys think.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah.
All right, bye for now, guys.
Bye.